Okay, sounds
Welcome to Effortless Being, where it takes no effort just to be. We have some guests on the line today. It feels like the Brady Bunch when you're looking up and down, like on the Zoom, doesn't it? We have to my left Sid Freeman. Sid, say hi. Sid, tell the audience about yourself. I know you were here once before, but there may be new listeners and stuff like that.
well.
Tell
Here's
us a little
here's
bit
the
about yourself. Go ahead.
here's the really fun thing about me that I am friends with Brian, and Brian interviewed you like 2 months ago, and I was
Mhm.
like, I just love that conversation so much that I wrote Rob and just, hey Rob, we need to be friends. And
Thank you,
um,
Brian, for that.
Pleasure.
We do have a lot of
I
fun together, don't we?
we do. My work is kind of effortless IFS, and it's the idea that it's translating this all into the IFS game of parts and self. Like there is this beingness, and then it expresses itself from our precious personality, these little parts. He's, I want this, I want this, I want that, and it becomes a celebration of everything that arises in us. And then my work is learning to love everything that arises in us. It all becomes we it becomes like an inner theater, and we fall in love with ourselves.
Love that. And now we have Brian Tom O'Connor. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, I really enjoyed being on your show. It was very nice. It was a really cool experience. Met some cool people. Like you said, I met Sid here and a few others, and I thought it was a great experience. So thank you so much. I really appreciate being
Oh,
on your
I'm so
show.
glad. Yeah, I loved that interview. I thought it was great. Jonathan and I have a good time.
Yeah. So tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you do, or whatever you want to share.
Okay, well, the formal bio is I'm the co-host with Jonathan Robinson of Awareness Explorers podcast, and I'm the author of a couple of books, Awareness Games and Awareness Adventures. The not so formal is that I'm just a regular, formerly depressed guy who stumbled upon the secret of happiness in the background of all existence.
Oh, good. We can't wait to talk to you about the secret of happiness. I'm sure a lot of people listening to this podcast want to know about that. A lot of people on the channel are people that are seeking and, they feel like something's missing, so maybe, something you say would resonate and who knows, bring some relief. And now below we have Ray. Ray, tell us about yourself, Ray. I know you're friends with Sid, so I'm going to make no judgments here, judgment-free zone here. And you
Oh,
just
what?
tell my audience about about yourself.
It so happens I really love judgment-free zones. I heard about this about 30 minutes ago when Sid walked in my door.
Oh.
Sid and I have um, guided some or facilitated some non-dual workshops. We like to call it 360 satsang, where we help to bring out the teacher and everyone who's there, and we all just learn from one another. So I do that with some non-dual experience and also authentic relating facilitation as well. Um, and yeah, more about me came to the non-dual world through Mahamudra teacher, the late Dan Brown. And yeah, have been playing around in it ever since. With IFS is, one of the areas where I met Sid. So I'm an IFS therapist and psychiatrist by training.
Oh, very good. Thank you for that introduction. I thought the way I do the call is I'll just start off just talking about my direct experience, and then we just go around and whatever wants to effortlessly arises. The way this all came about for me was I was listening to The Greatest Secret by Rhonda Byrne. And in that book, she had a lot of non-dual teachers, that were on there. And one of the teachers on there that resonated with me was David Bingham. He had said, "You're the infinite being having a human experience." Now, prior to that, I had listened to Eckhart Tolle, and he wrote a book called The Power of Now. And in that book, I had the realization that, wait a second, I'm not my thoughts. Like thoughts were arising, but there was like I was aware of the thought. So then I said to myself, well, I really can't be the thought. So now there was like two there. As you know, with non-duality, it's just one, right? So I knew I hadn't totally, you know, realized what was going on because I could still see the thoughts coming, and arising. So then when Rhonda had came out with the book called The Greatest Secret, and David had said, "You are the infinite being having a human experience." it was like something fell away, like my identity with this separate person called Rob, which I had believed my whole life. I was conditioned to believe that I was this separate person. I had limitations. I was broken. I needed to be fixed, all these kind of things. I was really believing, the descriptions that would come up into this space of beingness, and I would identify with it. And so I had believed that. So when he said, "You're the infinite being having a human experience," infinite being was almost like a remembrance for me. I was like, wait a second, that feels right. And so I had identified with being, the infinite being having the human experiences. I knew I was still having a human experience here because I was still feeling, there was still the five senses here. And I had identified with that with a character named Rob, not realizing that, it was all awareness. And then I had the realization that there really wasn't two here. It wasn't like there was two awarenesses here, like I'm aware, of the thoughts. There was the realization that everything was awareness, that what we are, that what everyone knows for sure. And when I talk to people, the one thing that I see that they all have in common is they all realize that they are aware. So everyone knows that no one can deny that they're aware. And so it was really the simplicity of just realizing, that we're aware, that this awareness, this pure view of awareness, this formless view of awareness is all encompassing of everything in the appearance, and the appearance and the thoughts aren't separate to what we are. It's so it was just the realization that everything is awareness and that there wasn't any separation. And that when I got curious about what this awareness is, it was clearly seen here that it's stainless, that it's flawless awareness, that it's timeless awareness, and that it's already whole, that it's already complete, that, there's no brokenness here. It's only when I was identifying with being this separate person, that consciousness was taking this point of view that there was this separate person here. So all points of view actually come up in this awareness that we all are. And so I kind of realized that we were all this awareness, and anything in the appearance, was equal. It was effortlessly arising in this space of beingness, that we all are. And there was no separation, and everything was equal no matter what was coming, whether it was thoughts or points of view or emotions or stories. They were all awareness. They all had the substance of awareness, that was in them. So it was just this seeing of that, like, and then it just came to the realization that it's just effortless being. Like the experience I was having was, this is just effortless being. It takes no effort just to be. So there was just this dynamic energy that's here in this space of beingness, that we all are. And nothing needs to be fixed. Nothing needs to be changed. There's no striving. Everything that's arising is pristine and perfect in this timeless awareness that we are. So that was kind of like the realization, that I had. And so then I had started this YouTube channel. Some people were resonating. That's when I started doing interviews, writing books. And then I'm doing something new called Mirror Calls, where people book calls with me. We get on a call one-on-one, and I mirror them, and I see them as the infinite being. I see them as awareness, as pure awareness. I don't see them as anything different. And I kind of hold that space for them and mirror that to them. And so I have these calls. Some people are telling me they get, relief with it, that they're able to rest as the awareness that they are, that they're no longer consumed in these points of views of being separate, or whatever point of view that they're holding it. And they tend to just kind of just relax, into the pure view of awareness, the spacious awareness that we all are. And when they relax that view, it's like this awareness, this pure awareness that we are, everything unfolds naturally. There's nothing that needs to be done at all. Just kind of clears up on its own once it's realized. So that's kind of like, where I was coming from, and kind of what that was coming through that I wanted to express. So I talked enough. So let's go over to Sid.
I wrote down some things.
Oh,
that you guys.
I didn't know it was a test.
I wrote down some things. It's like this, anything in appearance is just effortlessly arising, and all has the same substance of this awareness, as this awareness. That was just really lovely. Then I wrote down something Brian's language, like then he got touched with the secret of happiness in the background of all existence. I don't really have anything to say, Rob. I'm more interested in hearing, first off, Brian is just, I just adore this guy, and I'm just so happy to like be with him. And Rob, you crack me up. You just make me laugh, and I just love listening to you talk. And like Ray's one of my very best friends, and I get to be with the three of you guys on the Zoom. This is awesome. That's all I have to say.
Love it. Okay, Brian, we'll go to you.
Well, I agree. It is really fun to be here with Rob and Sid, who were both on Awareness Explorers, and great to meet you, Ray. And Rob, your intro, I resonated with so many points of it. I also at the time thought I was fundamentally flawed and really needed to fix myself. And I went on a search for how do people change. And that led me down a lot of blind alleys, but fortunately led me to stumble upon self-inquiry, starting with, the classic Who Am I of Ramana Maharshi, and then all of the various contemporary teachers in that sphere. But the irony is that what I ended up with was when I totally, completely stopped fixing myself and
That's
completely just allowed everything to be as it is, happiness just sort of revealed itself as like the base, the sort of default state that's just temporarily covered up by this idea that there's something wrong in the past or there's something you need to get in the future. And when that sort of disappeared, I found that happiness is just there. And I'm not talking about happiness, the kind of happiness that comes when you get what you want. That most people, when they talk about happiness, that's what they think it is. I'm talking about that what's already there. In fact, it's me. And what experiences, what knows experience and is totally already okay. So the individual Brian didn't have to all of a sudden accept everything. All I had to do was drop back and identify with that already accepted everything.
It was that natural state the whole time. It's already here, and it's in every life experience, this awareness that we are. And this awareness, it looks like that you recognize that when you stop striving and trying to do all these practices and searching and fix things, when you just kind of relaxed and you just kind of relaxed, and then it kind of naturally you were able to see, what was right here the whole time, shining as the perfume of peace right here the whole time.
Perfume of peace.
Yeah, that causeless joy, I like to say, that I resonate with, that effortless being. That's beautiful.
I find that it takes two sort of movements that are simultaneous, so that you'd have to get the hang of it. On the one hand, it's allowing everything to be as it is and knowing that effortless being is already there. But you also have to turn your attention to it. You can't just sort of sit on the couch and watch TV and have a beer. You have to. And so I think of it as the not completely, utterly, entirely effortless. I mean, it is effortlessly there, but for the person, it's the least amount of effort possible to turn your attention to the background, to the ground of being, to the awareness that you are.
Yeah, you would think it would be easy because what we are, we are what we're looking for. It's already here, it's already present. So you would think it would be something simple and effortless, as to what we are, to discovering that. I mean, because it's already here. We are what we're looking for. So in that sense, it would be, logical to think that it would be something that would be easy, that we could recognize right here, right now. That's ever-present awareness that's always been here.
It is easy, except the mind tries to take over and figure it out. And that's what gets in the way.
Yeah, the mind, the thoughts come, the description loves to come, right? Almost like taking us out of the paradise that's already here.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, Ray. Hi, Ray.
Hey there.
What's coming through? What's arising?
I'm just listening to what three of you are putting down. Brian most recently, the kind of relating on that sense of going into self-inquiry, and there's kind of a methodical way that It's done in Mahamudra, but still, just the Advaita path is that does open up, um, has opened up a wide field or an ocean, and there's a lot of stuff that appears there, and there's a lot of conditioning about how we respond to it. So just in terms of the like, it seems like it would be easy. This is the only thing that there is, right? But there's so much conditioning that's conditioned. I mean, it's not even just conditioned on the sense of thought, but it's behavior, how we respond to it. And so I don't know about the three of you. I'm curious because, Brian, you said a little bit about your journey, which seems to, start out at a similar place of just like, okay, I'm applying effort. I'm not in this effortless, like, blissed out place just yet. I get there, and there is still conditioning here. And I do want to like really address and hold and hold the conditioning with this awareness, gently, lovingly. And that's a process for me. Um, so yeah, I'm curious about that process. Was it like an all of a sudden boom for you and then everything opened and there was nothing to be done after that? Or was there actually a process with it, such as the one that I'm experiencing?
It's sort of, it wasn't just one big boom,
Mhm.
but there were a whole series of little booms, I think.
Yeah.
Um, the first one came when I was just watching a video of Gangaji talking about her teacher, Punja, known as Papaji, and he said, "What if you had no intention?" I just, I just started to laugh because there was a relaxation of what if I didn't have any idea of achieving or doing anything right now? But the thing is that that we get caught back in the world. So you have to sort of turn to it over and over until it becomes second nature. And so I just used like whenever I had a, a clutching or a feeling or some so-called unwanted emotion or something happened that I didn't like, I just said, okay, I'm going to use that as a reminder to turn around and look and ask, in what is this appearing? And notice that in what is okay with what's appearing. So for me, it wasn't like I don't have the paradigm of achieving a state that of a before and after. It's like it's always there.
Mhm.
Just whenever you feel like dropping in, you drop in and it's there. And when you need to deal with the world, you need to deal with the world. But the more often you drop in, the more it colors how you deal with the world.
Right. And I love that because when one looks, it's just found. It's just there. It doesn't go anywhere. So it's just a matter of, the frequency with which one looks, or at least for me, whenever there's a sense of like, okay, there's a little suffering here. Let me look and ask, okay, who am I? Who's experiencing this? What is it occurring in? What is this made of, even? All of them kind of lead back to what this is.
Yeah.
And gradually becoming more and more reassured of that, oh, this doesn't go, and I can find it, I can reach out for it at any time. Um, yeah, feeling some references, like some religious references of talking about, okay, reaching out to God. God is always there. And yeah, so that's what comes up for me hearing that.
Yeah, I love that.
Very good.
I got some more lines. I got some more lines by
Oh,
these inspiring people I've been listening to. I don't know if you guys have heard this. Um, what's what's already there? It's me, Brian. It's me. It's Brian.
Yeah.
The from Rob, shining as the perfume of peace.
Uh,
I want to do that again. Shining as the perfume, peace. And then from Ray, hold the conditioning with this awareness gently, lovingly. Thanks.
I felt that. Felt that's it.
Mhm. Me too.
Felt good.
The transmitter. Mhm.
Sometimes even like on the interviews when I'm doing mirror calls with people, it gets to the point where, we express what this is. And then we get to this place sometimes on the calls where there's just this silence that just comes about. And I just find that silence is just very peaceful, and you're just kind of resting. And it's almost like that silence kind of unites everything. It unites that awareness that we all are, because we're all remaining as that silence, that expansive silence of beingness that's always here. And we're all, resting as that the whole time. And then, the words come up, the thoughts come up, the commentary comes up, everything is just coming up in this space. But that silence, something about that silence, that stillness, that peace, it just feels like it's kind of like unites everything. And I find when I go on these mirror calls with people and we're talking, we kind of just drop into that silence. And when we're marinating in that silence, or just being what we are as the silence, restful, effortless being, it's just such a nice, like, unite, like, feels like, like they use that term unity consciousness. You kind of feel that unity of everything, like in your direct experience I'm talking about. A lot of times people describe things or say things, but when you're actually having the direct experience of something, it's totally different than like an intellectual thing. And I find times when I'm talking to people, about this, a lot of times they might have like an intellectual knowledge of what this is, but what is it really in your direct experience? What are you experiencing? Have you really seen this? It's almost like it's like this, whatever happens in the appearance, you still have this peace. It's like nothing in the appearance can really disrupt this peace of what we are, because it's all seen, that it's all awareness, that it's already free, it's timelessly free. The whole appearance is timelessly free, and it's not separate. Awareness is inseparable from anything that appears, whether it's a thought or a feeling. So it's just seen that way. So when it's seen like that in your direct experience, like there's just like this restful awareness, almost like you're resting, and everything's happening, and there's an okayness with everything, because you really see it all as you, as awareness. And so it's already timelessly free. It's already timelessly perfect, just the way it is. So there isn't this feeling of having to change anything, to fix anything, or to have some kind of practice to get there, to get to where you already are, what's already here in this pure view of awareness that's always shining presently here. And it's all encompassing all points of view, no matter what comes up, whatever point of view wants to come up. It's all resting in that awareness as that awareness. And that's what's seen in the direct experience.
I love the metaphor of silence. I think it works so well. It's so beautiful. And it's very similar to the metaphor of spaciousness. They're pointing to the same thing. And I sometimes think of silence as like what's there already in an empty concert hall before the orchestra starts to play. And the sounds of the different parts of the orchestra are all appearing in the same silence. So as you said, Rob, it unites all. It's already there before the noise and continues underneath the noise. It's what the sounds appear in.
It's, yeah, too, along with the silence, it's the space. Like if I just look to the left or the right of the body, even the body is appearing in this space of beingness. And it's equal to, to an umbrella, to a tree, to a sun. It's all in that one appearance. And when I look at the space too, it's not just, like I'm here and that's out there. It's almost like that subject object kind of dissolves, and it's like everything's in this space of beingness that's here, that's experienced. So there's no, like, you don't have that feeling of separation. I found that when I was experiencing things as the subject object, that's when the suffering was, because I was identifying with something separate that was here. But when that dissolves and there's just this space of beingness that you see yourself as and everything within it, the suffering, I couldn't find the suffering. But the space, like when I look around, everything's awake. Like to the right of me, to the left of me, everything is a awake space. That's all that's really here. And it's like almost like a hologram. The way I'm experiencing it is like it's like a hologram here.
Mhm.
You know how like a hologram is? Like it's like a mirage, like you can see it like it's arising, but it's really just awake space that we are. That's really what it is. And it's just that the description comes in, the mind will come in and describe it and divide it. And that's why a lot of people experience that subject object mode of experience. You know, they're seeing it as a, you know, that point of view. They're taking their, I don't know. It's almost like there's a choice. I know that there's a big debate. Like if somebody, like if the non-duality police are watching this, they might say, well, there's no person here. There's no, you know, that kind of thing. But it's true. It's seen there's no person here, but it feels like there's like a choice from the human perspective, you know, how we want to use this awareness. Like, do we want to just have the pure view of awareness, the pristine, like everything's whole, complete, like just everyone has that in a direct experience. You know, they know they're aware and they see that right in their own direct experience that there's awareness here. There's this pure, all encompassing view of awareness that's here and everything's in it and as it. Or you can take that consciousness, it almost becomes like an energy game at that point when you take that consciousness and now you're going to focus it on something in the appearance. You're going to separate it and make something out of it. And you're going to put your whole life energy into it. And I see a lot of people doing that. They're taking their whole lives and they're putting all they're draining their energy, putting all their energy into being this separate person. They're trying to fix the appearance, fix themselves, and they're putting all that energy in. And then you can see it in them, you know, the stress in them or the anxiety and the energy that they're using and the suffering, you know, that they're doing by putting all that mind energy into it. When you can just relax back, it's almost like a choice. Like in any moment, you can just relax back in that pure view of awareness, and you can feel that peace. It's almost like I always think of that Bible scripture that talks about that resonates with me is the, you know, the peace that surpasses all understanding. Because it's not in the understanding. It's not in the mind. It's just it's this causeless peace that's naturally here. You know, like you said earlier when we started the call, Brian. Like it's just your natural state already. You know, before anything else comes up in the appearance. It's right here. So I mean, my best advice to people, if you find yourself in that subject object mode and you're experiencing that suffering, the best advice to do would be just to rest, you know, rest imperturbably, you know, with the appearance and just kind of maybe just relax whatever, you know, beliefs you have or whatever things you're holding on to, you know, in the appearance, kind of just relax it. And it's a kind of choice you can make in any moment, you know, that you can do. I don't know, it's just what's coming through. Maybe that helps somebody find relief. I think that's what people want, relief.
Yeah.
You know, the relief is in the awareness that's already here.
Yeah, absolutely. The mistake people make is that they do these kinds of practices in order to change their experience.
Yes. Yeah.
And the great paradox of it all is when you just allow, you get out of the way and you allow things to take care of themselves, then oddly enough, things do work out better in the individual world. But if you try, it's you're trying to use me to not have this emotion, right? Sorry. Or you're trying to use me to get into this state. Sorry. But when you just drop all that, then it says, oh, okay. And it comes to your aid. It helps things work out in some mysterious way.
Yeah, so it's like a natural unfolding. You know, it feels like here that there's like an infinite intelligence, you know, behind the scenes, orchestrating everything, doing everything. Like, I don't really see like a doer here doing it. I see it, that it's just arising
Hmm.
effortlessly. I'm not really doing it. It's the same way that my breath, I'm not really breathing, or my heart's beating. I'm not actually physically doing it. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just resting right here as the pure view of awareness, relaxed, and whatever wants to come up can come up. All points of view are welcome, and they're all accepted equally. And it doesn't feel like there's like a doer or a need really even to control the appearance, especially when it's seen that it's like a hologram, and it's all awareness itself. So I know there's kind of like a peace. It feels like there's a peace here in knowing that.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's something coming up for me. Um, and I think the word bridge comes to mind. It's kind of like there's a sense of contact. So if I'm in a place where I'm viewing myself as a separate self, and I start with the instruction, just don't do anything, just let it go. And I know that's not exactly what you said, Brian, but it's like, okay, that's a misunderstanding of your instruction, when and I'm going to take it that way if I'm operating completely separate.
Mhm.
However, there's a sense of noticing, like saying, who am I? And just noticing, whoa, what's really here? That's me, that's not changing. And I have made contact with something. I've made contact with something open and spacious and totally silent and totally still, totally pristine, totally awake. And from there, if there's a stop, if I stop trying, then I just drop in and the identity shifts. Like identity just goes away. So from that place might be a good place to have that instruction of, wow, just like, oh, don't try to do anything from there. So there's kind of a contact as a separate self to something that is greater, and then a dropping in and really letting go into that and surrendering into that. And from that point, I am the silence, I am the stillness, I am the field, the quantum field this arises in. And it feels very, very, very peaceful there.
It's beautiful how you express that. I've had that experience too, like when I'm talking to people about this. It's almost like you got to like meet them where they're at. They may hear me speaking on this, and some people might not be able to relate to that. They're because maybe they're still identified with being a person. And what I'm saying here is some people could take it, oh, this is Rob experiencing this. And that's really not what I'm trying to get across. What I'm trying to say is resting as the pure awareness, not like Rob, or, is resting as it. And there's never two. Like, if you're saying, there's something that's aware here of something else, what's seen here is there's no separation between, what's here, there's not something here observing something else. It's all one that's being experienced in this space of beingness. So it's not really two, it's just this one arising and being experienced as one, as you in this experience. So I know some people could take it as, he's saying just rest as awareness, and that's okay too. I mean, um, if you're thinking it's, at first you may think it's just like a person that's observing here, even if you're not labeling as that, maybe intellectually you think that. But if you just rest as awareness, because effortless being is our true nature. So if you're just doing that, resting as awareness, even if you think that, it's a person here doing it, eventually that just kind of just washes out eventually anyway, you know
Mhm.
it kind of just washes out and resolves itself in awareness, because anything that comes up in awareness, appears and then it collapses right back into awareness. So it's like the infinite ocean of awareness. And it's like, yeah, you've heard these illustrations before, like the waves. And
Mhm.
so it's just like the appearance of being a person, but it's all made of the same substance of the awareness, and it all resolves itself. So there's no need to really resolve anything or do anything except to just rest as what you are, effortless being. Sid.
I have an
Joy,
idea.
joy, joy.
I got an idea. Talking about this resting, this realizing. because we have Brian Tom O'Connor with us today, right? And Brian has like these two amazing books, and the books are filled with games. One of my favorite words,
I love
games.
games.
To recognize and realize that, like, so many, like 100 different games. And I just had this thought, like, it could be really fun to have Brian lead us in a game.
Yeah, Brian, we love games. The name of your book is what? Awareness Games?
Awareness games. Yeah.
And now in the book, where there's a bunch of different games in it?
Yeah, yeah. There's a bunch of games like let's see. One of the games is where you imagine your mind as a very slippery disc. When I was a kid, I used to go to a fun house in an amusement park, and there was this little disc, and you sat on it and it spun, and you tried to stay on it, but you couldn't because it was so slippery. But if you managed to stay on it, there were these little electric bolts, and a guy would secretly press a button, and you get a shot, and you'd shift your weight, therefore, breaking contact with the friction, and you'd slide right out. So you imagine your mind as a slippery disc, and you imagine the thoughts in that slippery disc. And whenever a thought comes in, it's just too slippery. It just slides right on out the other side. Whatever thought comes, it can't find purchase, slides out on the other side. If it sticks around too long, creating some friction, you can press a button and give it a little jolt. It slides right on out.
I love that. What was coming up for me when you were saying that, was beautiful how you did that. Was what we are is stainless awareness. That resonates with me because it's stainless, because this awareness that we are isn't touched by anything that's happening in the manifestation, whatever thoughts are coming up. It's not stained by it. It's timeless. It's timeless awareness, perfect as it is. And so when you were describing how it was sliding off, that was resonating with me in that respect.
But they're all really the same in the end, although some sort of point towards the mind and some point towards the background. I found your description that you just described of that process to ring really true. And also, Rob, what you were saying, yeah, sometimes you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So sometimes if it's the person turning their attention to it, so it's the person.
Yeah.
But eventually
it works itself out. Yeah.
Yeah, eventually you start realizing that, another one is just include, I call it. And I first thought of this as when you have an emotion you don't like, but you can use it for anything. You have an emotion you don't like, and you ask, what else is in awareness? Well, there's a sound. There's some birds outside. I can feel my butt on the chair. You just ask whatever is in awareness, and you include it, and you include it, and you include more and more and more, including the feeling. You're not trying to change the feeling, but it becomes smaller in proportion to everything that you include. And you also include your thoughts, your feelings, and the sense of you as a person is just another appearance to be included in awareness.
So everything's included, all points of view.
Everything.
It's all included. It's all equal.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I find there's a palpable sense of an oceanic consciousness, at least on my end, because it's almost like it's including something additional that came up for me is can I find a line of demarcation between myself and that? Like, is that okay? There is this thing that I'm including, and is it separate from me? And if I look at my direct experience, can't find separation. It's all connected and all included. So it's really, yeah, that's where I'm going with that game, Brian. I love that.
Yeah. Looking for the line of demarcation, looking for the division. I sometimes think of it as like pick up sticks, and it's a line that you can see that in your mind you've divided between this and that. You just pull out the lines one by one of division between things in your mind.
Yeah. And just looking at it and see, can I even find that line? Is it actually there?
That's right. It's not really there. Yeah, that's beautiful.
So I love these games, man. I'm gonna have to get your book.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out. I like that it's on audiobook because I'm lazy. I like to listen to it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
pick it up.
yeah. Audiobooks are cool. They're
Yeah.
fun.
What other games you got?
Let's see. One is so simple. Like people want to control their thoughts,
Yeah.
and so I say, okay, here's the game. You can think any thought you want, except for thoughts about the past and thoughts about the future.
So that reminds me of how like when Emerson goes, "There's no past, there's no future. What's in between?" You can't think about anything else. You got to come like right here, right now. That's beautiful. Ray, you're laughing.
I'm laughing, yeah.
You resonate?
I'm resonating because it's like, okay, what's the just pulling the metaphor, like there's no past, there's no future. What's in
What's in
between?
between?
Like,
Where
yeah.
do you
And
where do you go
I
from
just
that? Where do you go
huh?
from that?
Where do you go from that? It's just like, okay, like I have a hard time conceptualizing the now as like a slice of now, like in between this big past and future. It's like, okay, the now is that in which time occurs. So I'm like laughing about the idea of it being okay. There's a sliver of time that's moving, and so yeah, that seems that um, yeah, I'm just getting the humor from that. But yeah, to actually not give someone a choice, like okay, you're not focusing. Like if we're not in the past and we're not in the future, where are we and what's happening? And you can think anything, and it's just like when I do that game, Brian, my like, I say okay, I just have this, and what's the purpose of thinking about this? It's right here, and the mind just stops.
This.
Which are really beautiful pointings.
Yeah, I love this. In fact, I have one called the circle of this. You're in a circle of this, and then just this, and the idea is to whenever something that's not this comes in, you just gently remove it from the circle. See if you can stay in this, and this is now period here period this period now here this.
Mm.
Love that. That's coming
But
up for me.
Ray, I do have a question for you because you said you're trained as a psychotherapist. Is that right?
Yeah, psychiatrist and psychotherapist.
Yeah, and Sid, you do internal family systems, which is a form of therapy. And I went through psychotherapy because for a long time I was very, very depressed, and it definitely helped. What it did was it gave a safe space to have my emotions, which made me realize that depression wasn't a separate emotion. It was a strategy not to have the emotions you don't want to have, a clamping down.
Mm.
And so I was but I didn't think it went far enough because I wanted not just someone to sit back and let me have the emotions. I also wanted someone to teach me like non-dual ideas and stuff like that. So I'm curious about your experience with people and their emotions and
Mm.
what are the
Yeah,
best approaches and how you might combine therapy with non-duality.
yeah. I do find internal family systems because I'm also level 3 trained in that, and I find that to be, I guess there's a process of unblending, and it's kind of like the neti neti that one has. Okay, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not this part of me that's angry, I'm not this part of me that's afraid. Um, and when one unblends enough, they might find, okay, I'm this sense of self, and self has certain qualities, you know, compassion, calmness, the silence is there, the stillness is there. Um, and the willingness to hold everything, right? That encompassing all parts are welcome sort of feeling. So I find IFS very aligned with non-duality. Where non-duality might go further is that it unblends further from the person. It's not just the individual person's self. in Mahamudra, we had ways, okay, we'd unblend from these emotional parts and these thinking parts, the part that's preoccupied about what happened yesterday and what I'm going to do with my career and stuff like that. And so you could unblend from that and find a place of peace. And then it's like, okay, and is this Ray? What if I unblend from the thing that I take myself to be? If I unblend from Ray, it goes even further. And IFS, in my experience, IFS doesn't unblend from Ray, doesn't unblend from the person. But Mahamudra, for example, definitely does that. You look at that and find out, okay, there's a process happening here that I call Ray, and I'm not even that. And then there's a process called time happening here, and I'm not even that. And there's a process called space that's here, and I'm not even that. There's a process called attention that's wandering around, and I'm not that. That's something that's wandering around and something that is obviously not moving. And the more that I unblend, the more that I get down to the raw, what this is. So do I typically as a psychotherapist, I'm helping people to unblend from whatever parts that they're stuck in. But occasionally there will be a person who's like, okay, like I still have this sense of individuation and I want to go beyond that. Okay, well let's take a look at that individuation. What is that? Is that actually you? And then you can go further from there and find kind of the happiness that you found. But there is, I think IFS gives a tool where it can be a seamless integration. Of course, it can become, I like IFS because it's something that's very simple that you can do some complex things with because, we're working in, different forms of therapy and medication and all of that. But all of that can be brought together with this kind of IFS that can also branch out into the non-dual.
Mm.
So that's my experience of it, at least. I hope that answers your question.
Oh, it definitely does, and I love the unblending idea and the whole thing, and also it honors the fact that even with non-duality, even though we know that our real nature is universal awareness, it doesn't deny the person, it doesn't deny the individual, and many forms of non-duality sort of bypass that.
Sure.
It is, I mean, I've never believed that in anything that says something doesn't exist. I think that, I think it's a both and. There's the pure awareness that allows everything, but then there's the individual. And if it doesn't somehow help lead a happy, productive, harmonious life, what good is it? And it sounds like the techniques you're talking about really do.
Yeah, yeah. I do feel that way for myself, and yeah, a number of clients have told me the same. So I'm grateful to be in contact with it. What I love about what you just said is it's kind of like the inclusion game. We're not leaving the person out, the individual out, and so that's all part of this to be included.
Mhm.
And I find and I've experienced this myself on the non-dual path, like trying to exclude, like, okay, there's no, Ray doesn't really exist. And I get that there's a way that Ray doesn't exist in the way that I always thought Ray existed.
Mhm.
And there is an illusion there that, we can call that. But when I see Ray for what Ray is totally included and like beautiful and there's and just like the people that I'm doing here and like my clients. So there's a sense of inclusion and of love and mm, yeah. Don't mean to pause for too long, but yeah, there is something more there from what you said that I wanted to respond to, but it'll come to me in a minute.
Yeah, it was coming up for me when you were talking is compassion, compassion for the character, all inclusion. When you think about the human experience, we're still having the human experience, even though we realize what we are. I do talk to some people that have come out of a radical non-duality, and I've noticed in that particular sector, where they're saying where the identities dissolve, and they're saying there's nobody here, there's nothing to do. I've noticed like a lot of them seem like they're, they're depressed or down, or they can't like re-engage back into the everyday life. And I find, that, that's important that we, from this non-dual understanding, or, if we realize that we are the awake awareness, that we can inculcate that into the everyday life, that, we're meant to be alive. We're meant to have the human experience. That's why we're here. We're meant to have fun. We're meant to be joyful. We're meant to re-engage. We still have families. We still have relationships. There's people still go to work. We still have careers. We got bills to pay. We want to re-engage with that. But it feels like, when you realize, what you are as, the pure view of awareness, that even in the everyday life, it just becomes like an ease to it. It's not so much that you're withdrawing from it, but it's more that it becomes more effortless for you. It becomes more, not that the other emotions don't come up, but they just don't stick like they used to, I should say. They don't stick to you like they do. And you're not like living in that, like that fear of death or that fear of limitation. It's like you view yourself, you have self-respect for yourself. You view yourself as whole, complete. You view yourself as abundant, and you kind of carry yourself that way through life. And there's like this inner confidence that you have, that no matter what thought's going to come or what other people say, there's like this knowingness, that you are worthy, that you're worthy to have all the respect. You're worthy to have all the joy. You're worthy to be alive. Just the fact that you're breathing, your presence alone is your worth. As you walk, the ground appears, as you spend, you're replenished. I mean, these are the kind of things that you feel like when you're going through your everyday life. And I sense too that there's like less, like even from a dad perspective, that there's less judgment like on the kids and stuff like that. Like you have to be a certain way, where you hold like these, you used to hold on really tightly to these beliefs and these ideas about the way things should be. There's more like a relaxation now, an openness to, let their intuition be their guide, they're all awareness. We're all the same awareness. There's nobody better than anybody else. And even from a perspective of hierarchy, like even like people listening to this, like you don't have to be somebody special. You don't have to go to a satsang. If you want to, you can. I mean, those are all things that are open. But what I'm saying is that there's no hierarchy. There's nowhere to go. You can realize your true nature right here, right now, no matter if you're rich, if you're poor, what color skin you are, how you were brought up, whatever your circumstances were, that even what you went through as a kid, any of that stuff, it doesn't matter. Awareness is right here. What you are is aware, and that is what you are. And there's no hierarchy. You can realize your true nature right here, right now. And you can take that understanding of what you are and that knowingness of what you are. You feel that conviction and you walk through it in your everyday life. So there's this peace that just permeates everything. And there's this kind of this love for everything too. And it's almost like a compassion, even when you're seeing things, it's just a compassion for everything. And it's almost like the ordinary life becomes extraordinary, if that makes any sense. Like I don't need to do all these things to get fulfillment. Like I'm already feeling full and whole and complete. So anything that I'm acting out is just coming from love or overabundance of what I already have, like a sharing of it. It's not like I'm in the past before this, I'd be like more needy toward relationships. Like, what can I get out of this? Or my happiness would be, how much money can I get? Can I get that career? Can I get that? Now it's more just a relaxing into whatever's appearing and, feeling confident to know that things are taken care of. There's an infinite intelligence doing everything, and there's just this feeling of peace, I would say, just going through the everyday life. But no, it is. I just wanted to make that point because that I have talked to people who've gone through the radical non-duality, and they kind of get lost into that. They've seen some depression and some other things that I've heard of, that they go into once they see, because they actually check and there's nobody here, and then they get that because they've had so much identity with being this. Think about it. These people that we're talking to, all their lives they've been identified with this separate person. They made this whole story. They have the whole identity in it. And then they're coming to realize what they truly are, and they've lost that identity. So some of them are having trouble like readjusting into the everyday life.
Yeah, they're missing the hidden secret of non-duality, which is that it includes duality.
Yeah, there you go. That it's okay to feel like you're a separate person going through the world.
Yeah,
That's okay.
the sense of the separate person doesn't have to go away.
It's still
it can
there.
just be another appearance along with everything else.
Right.
but what's it
It's just
appearing
like it wasn't
to?
before. Like
Yeah.
people would think I'm only this separate person, and
Right,
that's where they would
right,
feel the suffering. They didn't know about,
exactly.
that they're the expansive awareness that's whole and complete, but there's still the character still going on, in the story or the movie of your story. It's still happening.
Yeah, yeah,
So
but you kind of have to, I think, I mean, at least from my experience and people talk to, you do have to sort of start with the neti, like I'm not the body, I'm
yeah,
what knows the body. I'm not the mind, it's what
yeah,
thoughts appear to. I'm not. You have to do the not. But then once you reach, once you keep asking and your answer is total wordless, undefinable, spacious awareness, then you have to turn around again and look out at the world and re-include and say, that's not separate from awareness. That's not separate from me. That's not. So you have to. So I think the inward and the outward paths are a good sort of one after the other for most people. But some people do the reverse, and whatever works is okay with me.
yeah. I've seen that with some people where if they don't realize that, you're not the body, you're not your thoughts, and they just go right into, because then it's almost like, okay, it's Rob, that's the awareness, that's doing this. So if you don't realize what you're not, and when you start doing the not thing, I'm not the body, I'm not the thoughts, I'm not this, and then you come to the place where, well, what's left? And then it just reveals itself automatically, effortlessly, what it truly is.
In IFS terms, that's like the unblending from the parts, and then the all parts are welcome. After the unblending happens, there's the welcoming and the loving of all the parts and accepting them as part of this self and expression of this self.
Does anybody remember what Ray's playing with the neti? We're playing with the neti. It's a Sanskrit word, like not this, not that. I know there's a Sanskrit word for yes, this, yes, that.
Ooh,
Hmm.
I
include
love
this,
that.
include that.
Is there one?
I
Yes,
wasn't
yes,
aware of that.
yes.
What is it?
Tell us,
I think
Sid, tell us.
we have to find. I gotta find it because someone's used it
I'm
in
going
my
to look
group.
it
But
up.
it's like I love Brian your inclusion game and what Ray's pointing us to, and yeah, that
Yeah,
Not
including
this.
everything. Yeah,
Yes,
we're not
this.
separate from anything. Yeah,
It's
yes, this, include this. I am that. I am that. I am
There's something that you spoke to, Rob, in terms of the non like depression that might come with the um, the non-duality. That's, I guess you called it radical
radical
non-duality.
non-duality. Yes.
Yeah. So and when you said that, it's like, okay, I have an experience of that, which is like, certainly excluding the self, and there's a little bit of a flavor of shame to it. Okay, this is the like this whole awareness, like this is the good thing, and then that separate self is the bad thing. And of course, if that aligns with conditioning that one had as a youngster,
Mm.
it's going to, of course, it's going to fit right in, become part of the spirituality and be co-opted as part of the spirituality. Um, and yeah, there's so much shame there that there is depression in that. It's like, okay, I'm not really loving what's here. So just speaking to the importance of really welcoming in this separate self, this identity, this character that we call Rob, Ray, Sid, Brian, really welcoming them as part of this. And that is more of that seems more based on love,
Hmm.
because this non-duality is a loving movement rather than a shaming movement. This is the way that you're
Yes.
supposed to be. This is what it's not. Don't do that. Don't go there. If you have a thought about that, don't go there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, actually, yeah, let's welcome it all as part of this. Like, yeah, like do see what it exists in, and also welcome it. And different people will need different instructions at different points.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
but yeah. So
Yeah.
like,
True.
really appreciating this conversation.
Me too. I'm learning a lot too from you, because like I said, like I do a lot of these mirror calls, and so that's my direct experience with people, and I want them to see the loving side of this, that this can make your life enjoyable. Like life's meant to be fun. It's meant to be enjoyable. We're not meant to like suffer. We're meant to feel relaxed and easeful as we go through life. And if other things happen, there's no shame in that. Like everything's welcome, in this space of beingness and in this human life that we're leading. And that's what I just want for everyone is to feel this peace, to have this peace, no matter what's happening, you know, in life as they go through their lives, and to have, not to be so disturbed and to have to suffer from the appearances that are happening and because of the conditioning that they're having, or feeling it, like you said, those lower feelings, the shame and all of those things. It just the relief for people, the compassion for people is really what this is all about. The love. It's all really all about unconditional love.
Amen.
And feeling united too, like feeling, that like when I'm looking at people, like I see them all as whole and complete. I don't see them as broken. Or if they're telling some story that, that the mind might label as, negative or something, it doesn't really, I don't give it any weight. It's just, I still see conscious, I see everything, I see all of you here, as the pristine infinite being, that's whole and complete, you know. I don't see any flaws and things like that in you. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at what you truly are, the essence of what you are, because I can see that in everything and everyone.
What a beautiful thing to be in the presence of. I'm feeling grateful on behalf of the people that you meet in your merit calls. That sounds like a wonderful experience.
Thank you. Feels good. And it's nothing that I'm doing, like, and that's what I like to say. It's not, it's, all I'm doing is holding the space. And it's almost like they're revealing it to themselves. They're remembering what they truly are. It's nothing I'm doing. Like, it's just consciousness or awareness, whatever you want to say, this love, this peace, whatever name you want to give it, whatever this is in your direct experience, that feeling of that love, of that completeness, of that joy, of that peace, that's all your true nature. It's that ease of being, that marinating in that beingness, the beingness that we are. The beingness that we are is already whole and complete. It's love, it's joy, that is what we are. And when we put our attention on what we truly are, that beingness, you get filled up, you feel this fullness, this completeness, as you're walking around, as you're going through your day. It's such a good feeling, to have, and you having this love for everyone and wanting to include everyone, wanting what's best for the whole, because you see everything as you, you know, so you want that for everything and for everyone. You want to see them that way, and you feel that way about them. It's not just something. It's not just words. It's like you're feeling it, like from your heart. Like it's like this inner conviction that you have when you're here. You know what I mean?
Hmm. You're in the transmission. You might call that in other words, you're spreading the good news that yeah, you are one with love. You're not separate from any of this.
Isn't
You're
this good news though? Isn't that beautiful news to know that you are love, that you are whole, that you are complete, that you're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You're not a sinner that needs to be corrected. There's not, all the things that society's put on you or however you were raised or up or brought up. The whole time you remain as the pristine infinite being, this spacious beingness. That's what you've been this whole time. You
Hmm.
know, the thoughts that are coming and those, you don't have to believe those thoughts. That's not what you truly are. And when you see it in your direct experience, all that takes care of itself. There's no need to fix anything or to do anything. It's easy, it's effortless. And really, like you said, it comes down to love, unconditional love and compassion. And that's what unites everything. I know, Sid, we were talking about, I don't know if you want to share with them what we were talking about. You do some calls with in the political arena, and kind of uniting even that, because that could be like something that people get very emotionally, involved in, especially when they're identifying, in one way or another. But having that, that peace and that unity, even in that environment, can be there too, because it's just that people are holding on to that separation or that belief that they're holding. If they can just relax that belief and see the other, as themselves, as love, as consciousness, or as awareness itself, that can help ease that and unite them when they see that. Yes, Sid.
I like
Did I open a can of worms, Sid?
I'd like to say something about that.
Whatever comes through, Sid. There's no filter here anymore.
I want to hear it.
And it kind of goes, kind of deep into, it goes deep into IFS, and it's kind of what Ray was speaking to earlier, where there's a sense of a separate part of me is bad. It's something in me is bad, and this is why I love IFS, because as long as we have aspects of us that we haven't seen the way Rob describes the way he sees people as complete and whole and perfect and pristine, until we can see everything that arises in us as that perfection, that wholeness, that beauty, that innocence, we can't help it. We're going to project it out there. Whenever we feel resonance with that part of us in another, and then they are going to be bad. They are going to be broken. They are going to be, there's something wrong with them. We can't help it. And so it's really interesting playing with the red and the blue divide in our country right now, and being what I serve as a mediator, in a cultural mediator in the midst of this. And a lot of the game is try to help to invite the seeing the innocence in the other, and even in the innocence in what we see as the bad aspect. Someone who wants to arm teachers, we be like, oh my God. But then if we go just a little deeper, we can see the innocence of that everyone wants our kids to be safe. They want their families to be safe. Then there's just something so beautiful. And I'm going to suggest in every one of the political positions, if we look close enough, what Rob's pointing to will shine through, this radiance, this completeness, this beauty.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Love that you're saying that. I'm curious how that message has been received. Who you said, if you even want to.
I try to be very careful in how I speak it.
Mm. Meeting people where they are, right?
Yeah.
And getting on that common ground.
Yeah, like not saying too much too fast, right? Doing like little baby steps together, because it's easy to be like, are you out of your mind? The people who are dropping bombs, or the people who are doing this, or are people who are doing this to immigrants, or the people who are whatever side, whatever position it is, are you out of your mind? But if you go slower, they can find it. They can find the innocence, because we can, because they can. So I just very slowly and carefully.
Yeah, I can only imagine the skill as a mediator that comes from that. Like if I'm in a room with a mediator, I want someone who can see my innocence. That is a really beautiful, it just feels like a beautiful quality to have in that place. So that you can do that with everyone in every position. That is, wow, it's incredible.
Well,
I just
this
think
is
it's
why.
beautiful how you use that, Sid, with people. You're in the perfect position for that. That's been seen here too.
I want to say thank you, and this is why, like, I just wanted to be quiet in this group, because I'm with like three of my favorite people, and it's like, Ray and I teach together. Brian, who knows? He was trying to help me write a book, but he's just, I just want to. And Rob, you and I are going to be on a cruise leading stuff together. I mean, it's just,
We
it's
invite
just so
Brian
fun.
and Ray to come talk.
That sounds amazing.
They might like the Panama Canal and the ABC Islands,
I'm in it for the company.
Yeah, we have fun. Being in
Something.
each other's presence is great. It's like I was saying earlier in the call, your presence is your worth, and just being in the presence of people is very, very uplifting and fulfilling, for me.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I just want to say I loved that phrase, Sid, find the innocence. I had not really heard it put that way. I think it's very profound, because everyone what they want underneath everything that they think they want is love, to be loved, to be happy. It's just that sometimes we get distracted and look for it in the wrong places. But if you go deep enough and look for the innocence, um, and don't give up looking for it when that was the other thing you said. Don't think too fast. I just found both of those ideas really helpful.
It's it's important, right? Because we look at, in IFS terms, like we've just gotten blended with parts. These cultural wars. It's just lack and want and contraction and preferences. And then there's this being, this of what we've all been talking about, this radiance that shines through. We've just gotten blended. And and I think, Rob and I talk about this, like seeing the perfection, because you can see, if you look through Rob's eyes, all you see is the radiance and the perfection and the harmony, and everyone is the. And then at the same time, we see the suffering. And like when Ray said that line, that the separate self is a bad thing, that sometimes when we see that, in myself, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like anyone that when we can feel that, right? When someone sees something in them is wrong, bad, not good enough, it's just, there's so much compassion, and when we just are, just we can feel that, the suffering, so be those that have this, if the we need this to make the world a better place, and they might be really angry and might like use bombs to do that, but beneath it is just this, it evokes a lot of compassion and inspires me.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
Wow. Feeling the heart in what you put into the world.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't it cool how we all do it different ways, right? Like, I love, like, Brian's games are like the most awesome. I made the mistake of going to law school, right? And so that's why it filters this way, right? Because I was like, I got all this training as a mediator, and so, well, I might as well use it, But we all have Ray went to more school than anybody I know, and it's just like the way it filters through us. It's so interesting, and like, and Rob is just the blissful love of the perfection of this.
I'm just the ordinary guy.
It was just from wherever we happen to be at this point. Like,
yeah.
what other way will it shine through than right here, right now with what I'm doing? Like, why not?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good time to close out. Maybe we'll just go around, just like last minute things. Anything you want to express? Start with Sid.
Well, I've been told by like my friend Brian Tom O'Connor that I should, when I do things like this, I should say, and for more, come to effortlessifs.com and sign up to receive invitations to our weekly free Zoom groups. Thank you.
Those are great Zoom groups, by the way.
Send
it them.
I might surprise you one of these days, Sid, and just jump on one of those.
Recommend it.
I've been watching your YouTube videos, though. I thought that last one was very good. Very good. It spoke to me. Yeah, if anybody's out there wanted to see you, Sid has a YouTube channel. Maybe tell them what your YouTube channel is.
Oh, if you put like IFS, this is what Ray and I do, IFS, and the word Sid in the Google search, you'll get like hundreds of Sid videos.
Very good. Brian.
Well, I'm grateful for this. Even though words can never really point to the truth because the function is to make distinction between things, I still find talking about this stuff to be such a fun way of getting there, of being effortlessly there. I love talking about it. It's just fun.
Such a joy in expressing it. Love it.
Yeah.
How about you, Ray?
Mm.
Feel that.
Yeah, what a connection. I am just so glad that I came. For some reason, there was no hesitation when Sid told me about this. It was just like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, no, why not? And yeah, so good to be in your company. Um, yeah, I'll do a Sid. I'll take a cue from Sid. If it's been advice to Sid, it's good advice. My website is percyballardmd.com. Um, and and yeah, just grateful for anyone who is curious enough to come upon this and yeah, wants to look deeper into it and particularly the love side of it. It's been a really beautiful path for me. And so yeah, hope that I just feel grateful for anyone who shares in that.
Beautifully expressed. Hope people do check out your website, and anyone in my audience, feel please, any of these gentlemen, there's nothing but love here for you guys. We can't get it wrong. You know, we are what we're looking for. There's love here, there's compassion here. It's right here. It's simpler than people think. I know I say that, and then some would, say, well, when you were really identified, I remember what that feels like. There's compassion there, and don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay. That's part of the wholeness of awareness. Everything is awareness. Awareness is doing that, and that's fine. You know, Wherever we're at on the journey is fine. It's all unconditional love. Everything is welcome, and all of us here are a resource for you. We've been through it and continue to go through it, and there's things that people that are listening that are going through that can share with us, and this is equal for everyone. There's no superiority or anything like that, and yeah, it's ordinary. It's right here, right now. It's what you already are. It's effortless being. It's this pure view of consciousness that's illuminating. It's always here in every experience. And there's a comfort in that. There's a peace in that, and even like you said, like Brian was saying, beyond your words, if you can feel the sincerity coming through, you feel the transmission of what's here. Even if you're just reading the energy of what this is, you can feel the love and sincerity that's coming through from everyone on this call. And I think what we all want is just everyone to be at peace and to be happy and to be joyful and to have fun with life. Life's meant to have fun. And, we're meant to not go through life suffering and having to, strive and do all these things and figure these things out. But if you do, that's okay too. I think that was the message we heard here. That's okay too. There's compassion in all of it. You can't get it wrong, I guess is what I want to say. And there's just nothing but love here for everyone. All right, we'll close there, gentlemen. Thank you so much. This was great.
Thank you.